Hello and welcome. Happy September, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I am here to talk about the Norwegian Buhund, the dog of the Vikings. I'm sorry we didn't get to see you last year, and we're only doing this digitally this year, but hopefully this presentation will be fun and informative. So you're probably saying, what is the Norwegian Buhund? Well, there are actually several breeds of Norwegian dogs, the Buhund of which is just one. That's the one we'll be talking on today. But as you'll see in this graphic on the right, there's also the elk hounds, which I'm sure many of you have seen. There are a couple of hunting hounds, and there's also the Lundehund, which is the puffin dog, which is actually very interesting too. I encourage you to look that up if you have the time. But today we're talking about the Buhund, just general facts. According to the American Kennel Club, their breed popularity ratings, the Buhund is 165 out of 197 total recognized breeds. So they're not super popular. Height, you're looking at about knee high. Weight, males up to usually about 40 pounds. I have seen bigger. Females in the 25 to 35-ish kind of range. And life expectancy, they actually live for quite a long time. 12 to 15 years is very common. I've seen several that have lived longer than that. They have very few health problems. They are considered a Spitz type breed. They are made for cold weather. They're characterized, they have a very dense double coat, the fluffy undercoat and then the coarse outer coat. Their tail is curved tightly over the back, and they have those erect pointed ears. The AKC recognizes two different colors, wheaten or black. There is also a wolf sable color, which we will talk about, that is only recognized in the UK. You don't see them very often. Now, the name Buhund, it's actually derived from the Norwegian words bu, which means farm, or homestead or mountain hut, and then hund, which means dog. So basically it just means farm dog, which is not particularly poetic, but they're Norwegians, so they're very practical. It is a farm dog. They're pretty much an all-purpose farm and herding dog. They did vermin hunting, they used them as watchdogs. Pretty much whatever the Norwegians needed them to do, Buhunds were it. You can see here some images. There's the black and the wheaten colors, and then the wolf sable, like we discussed, UK only. I have never seen a wolf sable in person. They are very uncommon. Mostly you see the Buhunds in the wheaten color today. Historically, the black was actually more common. Interesting fact, Buhunds very frequently have multiple dew claws, especially in the back. There's a picture here of a dog with 2 dew claws in the rear. I have seen them with up to 3 dew claws. The puppies, when they're born, they are not born with that clear wheaten sort of color to them. They're actually born sort of like a little gray color, and then they slowly lighten up. They develop their distinctive black masking on their noses, and then the ears gradually pop up and the tails curl over. You can kind of see a progression on the bottom here. Now, Buhunds have a really long history. Dogs similar to the modern day Buhunds were unearthed in the Gokstad ship, and that dates back to 800 to 900 AD. The Buhunds, they were known to travel by sea and land with their Viking owners. You can see on the right-hand side here the Gokstad ship. You can actually see the ship in the Viking Ship Museum in Oslo. It's open to the public. And they actually did find a dog color in the excavation, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, which I thought was pretty cool. They weren't recognized as a distinct breed until the 1600s, which was still quite a long time ago for us. Interest in the breed was really renewed with Norwegian independence in 1905. And then the Norsk Buhund Club was actually founded in 1939. So the very first dog registered, his name was Flink, and he was considered the finest specimen of his time. So the very first breed standard was based on Flink, and there's his picture down below. And just like an interesting side note, I'm sure you're familiar, a lot of dog breeds, their standard and their look change over a period of time, especially so like bulldogs are a great example. If you look at the bulldog today versus the bulldog, even 50, 60, 100 years ago, they look just very, very different. Buhunds, not so much. They look very similar to, Flink here still. They're very much a purpose-driven dog breed, not so much for the aesthetics. Not saying they're not cute. They're freaking adorable, but the usefulness of the dog was first and foremost the purpose of the breeding. The first known Buhunds to come over to the United States were shipped over here on a cruise liner in 1931. Their names were Bamse and Leffel. Buhunds were kept by the Norwegian royal family before World War II. You can see some pictures here on the right. Unfortunately, the Buhund populations really suffered with the invasion of the Nazis. Very sad. The Norwegian Buhund Club of America was founded in 1983, and here's their website here. They're still active, and I encourage you to go check out their website. It has a lot of great information. And then it took quite a while, but the Buhund was accepted into the AKC's miscellaneous class in 2006, and they didn't achieve their full recognition until 2009. So they are now shown in the herding classes. Current population in Norway is estimated about 1,000 dogs. They have about 100 to 150 puppies registered per year, so it's not a whole lot. I would say in Dane County today, there may be 10 Buhunds total that I'm aware of. So modern activities, what do people use their Buhunds for today? Obviously herding. You can still enter them in herding trials. They have great herding instincts. Sheep and ducks are probably the most common. Barn hunt is also great because, historically they were used for ridding your barn of vermin. If you're not familiar with barn hunt, it's basically you set up all these straw bales like this into kind of like a mini obstacle course, and then they hide rats in dog-proof containers in the straw, and your dog has to sniff out the rats and give a signal when they find them. There's also agility, there's carting, there's lure coursing. You can enter them into the Canine Good Citizen test. And there are so many pictures. I could have put so many slides on here, but other activities I haven't pictured. There's rally, scent tracking, fly ball, just regular scent work, tri ball, which is actually you teach your dog to herd like those inflatable exercise balls into soccer goals. And then also, obviously therapy and service dogs as well. So there are all sorts of activities you can be involved in with your Buhund. Now, I get this question a lot. Is a Buhund the dog for me? You're saying, Sarah, I also think these dogs are super cute and I need one. Is this a right fit for me? There are a lot of pros. I mean, they're very friendly. They love people. They're eager to please. They're like we saw with all the activities in the previous slide. They're very adaptable. They're easily trained. They'll pick up the concept you're trying to teach them very quickly. They're excellent watchdogs. They'll be on alert and they'll tell you if anything suspicious is happening. Although the things they consider suspicious and the things we consider suspicious are a little bit different. They will bark at leaves blowing through the yard, the little girl on her scooter going down the sidewalk. So, you'll have different ideas from the dogs. So you will have to train them out of some of that barking. They are very family oriented. They're generally very good with other animals and children, especially children. The coat is low maintenance because they have that double coat to them. So they've got the soft inner coat, and then the outer coat is sort of a coarse, dense fur. A lot of the dirt will just kind of slough right off. You don't have to take them to the groomers. There's no need for that. Most of the dirt, if you just let it dry, you can brush it right off or take a chamois and just kind of wipe them down and you're set to go. They're very healthy, very few problems. Genetically, some of the lines are prone to hip problems when they get older. And then there is also a cataract. Be sure if you are getting a Buhund that whoever you're sourcing your dog from, unless you can find a rescue, that's a different story. Make sure that the line is being tested for these two problems. They are extremely intelligent, extremely they will surprise you. Very high energy, great for active households, and they're very cold hardy. Like again, they've got that big thick coat. You do have to watch them in the winter with their feet, just like any other dog. If if the sidewalk is too cold or if there's a lot of salt down, that will affect them. But otherwise, you and I will not go outside, and they'll be perfectly happy romping around in the snow. They absolutely love the snow. Now you're saying, oh, well, that sounds great. Well, hold on. We haven't gone through the cons yet. back to that watchdog part, they can be very skeptical of strangers. You will have to train them to accept people coming into your house, people they haven't met. They're a watchdog, so they're trying to tell you that there's a stranger in the house, but it may be your best buddy who's come over for a couple beers. You're going to have to negotiate with them on that. You will have to train them. Do not leave them to their own devices. They're too smart for that. They will make up their own rules and games, and the two of you will not agree on what is acceptable. On the same token, they are also they're very headstrong. They will test you. There's a saying that goes something along the lines of there are very few dogs that are actually stubborn, because for a dog to be considered stubborn, he has to understand exactly what you're asking of him. He has to understand the consequences if he doesn't listen, and he has to decide that he's going to do something else anyways. And that is a Buhund. You may be asking them to come, but they're having a better time barking at that squirrel in the tree. And they know darn well that if they don't come, you're going to give them a timeout. But barking at the squirrel is worth the timeout. So that's what they're going to continue doing. Like we discussed, they are very vocal. They can bark a lot. Probably not the best for an apartment. You can train them to be a little less barky, but they also think barking is fun. So it's kind of hard to teach them not to do that. Like we discussed, the coat is very low maintenance, but they are heavy shedders. All that undercoat comes out. They usually blow it twice a year, to the point where you get little tufts coming out, and you'll get little fur dust bunnies going around the house. Usually twice a year, sometimes more than that. It depends on the weather. Again, they can be too smart for their own good. Don't trust them. Baby-proof everything. We discussed as a pro, high energy. That can also be a con. A daily walk is not going to cut it. They will go bonkers. If you are a household where you're going to go to the dog park a couple times a week, you're going to go hiking on the weekends, you'll take them for a swim, you play fetch in the yard every day, you go for a walk every day, maybe they go to doggy daycare once or twice a week. That is about the level of activity they need just to get that excess energy off of them. I mean, these dogs were bred for thousands of years to run up and down mountains all day, every day, herding sheep around. So if you're looking for a dog where you're like, yeah, I take a 10-minute walk around the block every day and I'm going to call it quits, not the Buhund, not so good. And just one last note, they can have a high prey drive. And I know we talked about going to the barn hunt activity and hunting out vermin. Some of them have higher prey drive than others. Some of them will go bonkers for squirrels and bunnies and chipmunks while you're out for a walk, and you'll need to give them reactivity training to kind of lessen that. But some of them also will be reactive to like cats in your house. You have to teach them that these things are they aren't to be chased. They aren't toys. And some more than others. Some don't care. I suppose it's the same with the herding instincts. Some have a stronger instinct than others. So that's basically what I wanted to touch on today. Just a couple additional resources. If you are looking, if you're still interested in a Buhund, if I haven't talked you out of them, if you just want to chat with people, the Norwegian Buhund Club of America, here's the link to their website. The AKC also has a nice website with general information. And then if you want to hop on Facebook, if you have an account there are a couple different clubs or group pages I've listed out here that you can go on, and feel free to go on and ask questions. It's very, very active groups. So again, happy setting to Mai, and I'm glad you came to this presentation, and hopefully next year we will be able to see you in person again. Thank you.